Someone asked me the other day, they're like, you have so many rental properties, why do you keep doing this? And I was like, it just ingrained in me just to want more and more and more and more.
Ohio was a new market for me, and I think like that was surprising in a good way.
I always say, hey, for the next 30 to 45 days, I am your best friend. You text me, I'm gonna hit you right back.
I don't truly believe passive is a thing because you always get that itch. So I'm at this point where I'm like, this feels too easy. This doesn't feel right, and I want to buy more property.
I know you're waiting for interest rates to drop, but your landlord's buying at 7%. Why aren't you? Eddie, thanks for coming on and talking to me today. It's been an exciting adventure working with you. You bought 3 properties off me so far. You're one of the investors that I talk to on a regular basis, even after the transaction. So I want to thank you for just staying so involved and connected. I can just tell you have a huge passion for real estate. Where did that kind of start with investing?
So I went through a point in my life where I got a bunch of sum of money. I worked at some small startups. And then they became big startups and then they went public, right? I did the thing that somebody who hasn't had money does with their money. They blow it all on a lot of dumb things. So I was on my last, I would say like 100K. And I was like, ooh, I really need to button down. So I, did a lot of research. I ended up finding you. And I was like, I need to make sure that this money doesn't just disappear.
100%. So it disappeared into some great cash flowing assets here in the Akron area. For sure. Something I really love is like you always have all these ideas, whether it's social media thoughts or other real estate things. I know you started a new kind of real estate idea. If you want to talk a little bit about that, I think it's super cool. And I think it makes the entry point to real estate even lower than it is in Akron, Canton, Ohio. Because I know like California, you're buying $1 million assets. Here in Akron, Canton, you're 130 to 150. But you've even made it easier to invest in if you want to talk a little bit about it.
Sure. Yeah. So what I've been working on for the past 2 years, mostly working through the legal hoops and ladders that it is a product called Whimsy. What we do is we fractionalize real estate assets. So what we do is we find individuals. Whimsy acts as the facilitator as a platform. Gives you the individual, like maybe yourself, Steve, or myself. We'll bring properties to the platform. We'll have our own profile and we sell equity or we sell shares of this property to a decentralized autonomous organization. That entity itself is what holds the asset. Like an LLC holds a house today. It's very similar in the same style. The only difference is now you're able to co-owner with other people. So you share the responsibility, the decision making through governance, voting, proposals submitting. And if there is any income or if there is any shared appreciation over time, you can benefit from that because it is tokenized. You're able to own the tokens, sell the tokens, very much like a stock account, like an order book, but also keep on to them and you still benefit from the taxable depreciation. You're able still to benefit from them from any income that the community or the co-ownership group decides to do with that income. But it gives you all the benefits of being a landlord of a single property, but you can share it in a more micro bite-sized approach.
It's amazing that you can break it down so it becomes accessible at many levels almost, which is really cool. I think it kind of just gives the opportunity to people that wouldn't have it to have that opportunity, which is really cool. Kind of want to dive into the 3 that you recently bought off me. I know you're looking for more, just like every other investor, right? He caught the bug.
Yeah, it's the itch, Once you pop, you don't stop.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like someone asked me the other day, they're like, you have so many rental properties, why do you keep doing this? And I was like, it just ingrained in me just to want more and more and more and more. It's like playing Monopoly, right? Once you get one hotel, you're just going to stop.
After working with you and then working with like some of my lenders, what I realized is that money is imaginary. And once you figure out that one lender's talking to another lender who's talking to a bank somewhere down the line, you just have to make sure that the opportunity you have is well structured enough that it makes sense on paper, that you could pretty much get approved for anything. And what you brought to the table is every single property's cash flowing. So it's very easy to just go to them and say, nope, this is meeting the DSCR requirements. And then from there, they run off and they can get money from anywhere, right? So it's like, once you figure out the deal, if the deal's right, the money will be there. It became addicting.
I heard that phrase early on. If the deal's there, the money will be. And it never clicked until I started doing a ton of deals. And then I realized how easy it was that capital's like, oh, wow, you found a good one. Here you go. Oh, you found a good one. Here you go. And now it's not even a question. There's like, oh, here you go. After you've done hundreds of them, which is I think where imagined people were when I was watching them online 10 years ago. I never thought, I'd be doing hundreds of transactions a year, right? Kind of just to break down your cash flow stuff, let's talk about the one you bought in Kenmore a little bit. What was that one rented out at? I mean, what are you cash flowing on that per month?
So that one right now, we're renting that at $11.95. We're currently cash flowing that as around, last time I checked, because we had some repairs and stuff, but it should be cash flowing around $285 in cash income.
Nice. That's awesome. That's always a nice little spot there on the Kenmore Boulevard. I always like it because they start having parades and festivals on the first Friday of every month kind of thing they do. So I think it's a popular spot, especially with the kind of revitalization of all the storefronts there, which has been really cool. One of my favorite areas to buy in is Massland, the northeast side that you picked up, the one on 3rd Street. I know that was a huge rent. Wasn't it like 13 something or whatever?
Say that again?
1345. Did Massland rent out at like 1345 or so, you think?
No, that one's
So what was it?
No, yeah. That one's at the 1345. That one's the big winner. That one's making me about $320 a month in cash flow. I love that house. Now, is that how you say it? Massland?
Yeah,
I wasn't saying Massillin like an idiot. Now I understand why people keep questioning me, like, what are you talking about when I'm on the phone with them? I've had really no issues, and I'm working with property management company, right? So you guys are on top of it. I get scared every once in a while. I'll get like these letters from the county, and I appreciate you, by the way. Normally I work with somebody else, and they're like, yeah, here's the number, go talk to them. But you were right on top of it. You helped out. You calmed me down a little bit. But yeah, no, I'm getting those. Oh, you didn't cut your grass, or your inspection needs some fixing, and I'm like, oh my god, this needs to be done in a week. Where is it at? And then I contact the property management, and they're like, yeah, we've been done with that. We're waiting for them to come back. It's so reassuring, to get those kind of emails back after you're freaking out, last second.
Yeah, what's really cool with the relationship that I built and the property management company has built with the city of Canton, if they know it's a property that we've owned before, they know we're probably going to manage it afterwards, because it's happened so many times, right? So as soon as they come in and do their inspection, they'll send us the letter right away, where it's going to make it to you in the snail mail, all across the country. And we're just going to email the same day. So then the office staff knows that it's pertinent to jump on immediately. They get on it. And by the time you get the letter, we've already had all the wheels in motion.
Yeah. It's awesome
situation. Thanks, man. We really tried to build a great team to support, not only your rentals, but it supports my rentals as well, because they manage mine. So it's a two-way situation. So I obviously want the best for mine and your rentals, right? So, what was some maybe that was surprising during the transaction when we were working together? Good or bad, I guess, right?
I would say surprising is how smooth it was, right? So like, I've bought some property in the past. I've done some other things with sharing the burden with other people. Hence why, the Whimsy and the co-ownership, which, just scaling it out is really what that idea is. And yeah, I didn't need a realtor when I spoke to you. Everything was ready to go. You had proper connections. You had really good insights and advisement. And the hand holding, as seasoned I think that I am, Ohio was a new market for me. And I think like 100%. that was surprising in a good way, right? Because I didn't expect you to go above and beyond to explain things and take the time to do so. And I do appreciate, I literally have no negative from that experience. It was really smooth.
I always say, hey, for the next 30 to 45 days, I am your best friend. You text me, I'm going to hit you right back. You call me and they're like, no, okay. Everyone says that. And like, they call me at 9 o'clock at night. I might be sleeping, but I'm like, hello. I know that's their time they get off work in California, and I'm like, I got to be available when they're available, because they're still working that W-2, which I know a lot of us, worked at one point, like myself, you in the startups. I mean, we all strive to get to that passive life, right? Or that passive income. I feel like I'm at that point, but I just can't stop and relax, right? There's no relaxing me. But what does passive income kind of mean to you? What's your thoughts on it?
I don't think anything's truly passive, but you've gotten everything real close for me. You still got to do your paperwork. You still got to do your taxes. You still got to maintain it. I think I spend maybe 2 hours a week sometimes just looking through my mail, looking through the paperwork, looking through any updates that I'm getting, making sure, payments go to the mortgage and to, to service the land, the borrowing.
Yeah.
I don't truly believe passive is a thing because you always get that itch. So I'm at this point where I'm like, this feels too easy. This doesn't feel right. And I want to buy more property. I need something to do at this point. I think that's where I'm at. But passive, I think you're still going to do a little bit of work. I still got to get the paperwork ready for my tax guy. But as, being on top of it, fixing toilets or, fixing a hole in the wall that somebody fell into by accident, I'm not doing it. And after the last little scare with, like the inspection and stuff, and you guys were on top of it, I don't feel I have that peace of mind that I don't have to like be there.
It's kind of funny. Like I've actually never changed the toilet, and people joke like, you and all these rentals, you don't know to change a toilet. I'm like, I'm sure I could figure it out, but I've never actually swapped a toilet, right? Always hired it out to people that were experienced,
Yeah.
and just seems to make sense. Is you try to buy these rentals to create more time for yourself, and that's what you've done. And it sounds like your 2 hours you're putting in as a flexible 2 hours, right? You're gonna do it when you want to do it. It's not like, hey, Eddie, I need you here at 8 a.m. And if you're 5 minutes late, I'm gonna write you up the first time. Next time, I'm gonna give you a second right now.
No, none of that.
It's kind of nice.
It's
None of that.
my time is mine now, right? That's really where we're at.
Yeah. When you can control your time and figure out what you want to do and when you want to do it, it's always the cool thing about the passive income or owning your own business or scaling it out in a way that's really cool. So I think your big goals are here with Whimsy, right? I mean, that's where you're kind of venturing to the front here. High level, like, what do you think? I think it's the coolest platform just to break it, to make it so everyone can be like involved. Like, what is your like big goal? Like, if it blows up, where do you see something like this?
Where I see Whimsy, let's say we scale 100 properties, maybe 50 users, 50 landlords putting properties on. It's really, at the end of the day, it's a way to make the real estate market faster and more liquid than it was before, right? Being able to give the landlord the ability to offer up some of his property to get that capital without having to go through a bank, get pre-approvals, but being able to share that co-ownership across multiple people. But it also is a double win, because the people who come to the platform as a community, as people who are interested in investing, gives them an opportunity that they can't get right now. Interest rates are too high. Property values are way too high. A lot of people might not even be able to buy their first home to even live in. And a lot of people are kind of priced out of the market as we speak right now. Jerome Powell was it yesterday? He still isn't going to budge on rates at this point. So, there's only so many times that you can hear that and think, oh, am I waiting for rates to come down really? Or are you waiting for prices to come down? Or you can get yourself into fractionalized real estate, start investing now, DCA into your future retirement. And it's, because it's built to be a very liquid system. If you don't want your shares, next week, just sell them on the order book. Somebody else will pick them up.
Yeah. That makes sense completely, to be able to trade on my trading cards almost,
Yeah.
right? Coins.
Really breaking down the barrier of entry, essentially.
Yeah. For sure, making it affordable for everyone. I saw something funny the other day on Facebook. It was one of those like memes or whatever. It said, I know you're waiting for interest rates to drop, but your landlord's buying at 7%. Why aren't you?
Honestly, yes. Like, I don't believe in interest rates the same way. I think it's just that the deal is right. It makes sense to throw the interest, because my mom and my parents were buying houses in the 90s at like 10%.
Yeah.
It's just that the deal has to be right. If the house is priced right, like if you're trying to sell and the house is priced right with the rates that we have today, I think people would be able to sell their houses much faster.
Yeah, I think 100%. I mean, if people feel more comfortable with the deal, they're going to do it just because they're like, oh, it's a low interest rate to what they're conditioned to. So I think if people get conditioned for the next 4 or 5 years that, hey, the 7% rate is where we're at, and we hit 5, it'll be a feeding frenzy, right?
So that frenzy.
It's all relevant.
So that was Trump said he wants 3 basis points down. So that would bring us from what we at. I think this morning was 7.6. So that would bring us to 4 or 5 ish. So I think that would cause such an uproar and people coming to buy real estate that it would actually just drive the price of homes up higher.
Oh, it would definitely drive the price of homes, because as soon as the rates drop, you got all those people who are sitting on the sidelines are now going to jump in, and they're going to pay more for their house. They're physically going to owe more on it, not because of the interest rate, because it's physically paying more for the project.
Exactly.
Where the people that jumped in at 7 or 8% even, bought the property, maybe got a better deal. They paid physically less for the property. They could then refinance and be cash flowing even more.
Yeah, and that's if we don't have these competition for the offers, and then I don't have to slide a $10,000 check to just sweeten my offer letter.
Hey, listen, there's no bribery around here, okay?
Not anymore.
So that's I see your business goal is to create the fractionalized real estate Whimsy. Super phenomenal idea. All about it. Personal goals on rentals or investing. Where's your mindset? Where are you headed?
Me, I'm heading to as many as humanly possible. Personally, I do want to get to 10 under my name by end of year. Some I'll put on Whimsy, just so we have some nice properties and people can see, some successful stories there. But, before I hit 40, I'm 34 now, going to be 35 next year. I think I can hit 30, realistically.
Love it. I don't see any reason why not. There's no reason why not. I mean, I feel like I the same way through that 30. I'm 35, going to be 36. I feel like I was scaling that same point at 34 to 35. So, I mean, picking up those 10 doors this year is going to be huge to catapult you into getting that 30. I always say it's like a snowball, right? Because you add up all cash flow, you add up whatever other incomes you have, and you keep adding it to money that you can put into these investments, and just keep stacking and stacking and stacking to where, like, when you have stocks, your stock grows, and if you're not getting a dividend, you're not getting any more cash flow for your current situation to keep reinvesting. Mm-hmm. Where I like real estate, you're getting that cash flow, taking that money, putting it with whatever other money you saved, and buying more assets that then kick out more cash flow, and it just stacks so much faster.
Yeah,
I think
that's actually why I keep recommending real estate to friends of mine. Just yesterday, we put a little group together for like crypto chat, because and what I'm finding is I'm the only one actually putting any calls in there, so I need to reassess with them. But what I'm finding is that they don't know what to do with their money after they have it. And I think real estate's probably the safest and most structured way to maintain your wealth long term. And I keep telling them, put it in real estate. And they're like, yeah, but what if this gets broken? What if this does that? And I'm like, hire a property manager. Why are you even looking at it? There's already systems in place. Real estate's an old enough business structure in the United States that there's an answer for everything. You want to manage it yourself? You can, but you don't have to.
Is that 8 to 10% worth it to manage it yourself? That's really the question you have to ask. Is it worth that time? Is it worth the hassle? Do you have the infrastructure? Especially if you're an out of state person managing it, right? Even tougher. I know I manage one Airbnb out of state, and it's enough of a headache, right? I couldn't imagine trying to do a portfolio of it out of state. You would need a full team. You'd have to either build or buy in with your as a management type thing, which is, I think, the easiest route. It's set up to just have someone else manage it. I mean, there's hundreds of companies that do that on a local level here, right?
Exactly.
And
there's some areas I was actually looking at. I like to find little secret gems that people haven't really tapped into yet. And there's a spot in Oklahoma, right over the border of Texas. It's like this big lake, lots of fishing, lots of outdoors living. And they don't actually have any long-term property managers. There's no rental property managers. They only do short-term rental property management. And they got the website, they got the brand, they got everything, but it's only short-term. And it's just because that area is starting to get bigger and bigger, because one city over is the casino that they just opened and the new shopping mall and all this other stuff. And, it's kind of hard to get lending out in that area because it's still considered rural. So I walked away from it for that reason, but it's also if you're planning in a certain region to have, property management, you have to make sure that region can even support what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, 100%. And I think probably one of the reasons I like the short term is because they charge a lot more in short term rental. It's like 3 times rate.
The 15 to 20%.
Oh, I've seen higher. Maybe I was getting ripped. Someone offered me 28%. And then they had a fee for their fee.
So I got some land out in Belize, and I was ready to start building a new like 3 properties out there for short-term rental. Is actually right on Ember East K. They're getting a new airport. They put new roads in. It's, you know, they're starting to come up, right? And it's a really nice area. It's a nice vacation spot. But the property management there the minimum is 22%. And then they charge an additional amount of fees if they want you to go out there and look at the property and make sure it doesn't need any repair. If it needs repair, you need to give them money monthly to make sure that there's money in reserves to repair it. And then on top of that, then they have white glove service. Do you want somebody to go pick up the people from the airport and get them a golf cart and all this other niceties? So like they've really turned it into a business out there because there's such a need for it. But 22 to in the upward area around 30% of the overall revenue is insane.
Oh yeah, I looked at an Airbnb. I was going to do it and have someone else manage it because I really wasn't set up for it here in Akron. And I was like, after I paid all this, I was better off to do a long-term rental.
Yep.
And I wouldn't have as much overhead putting all the furniture and all this stuff into it. I was like, this makes no sense whatsoever. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. If anyone wants to connect with you, Eddie, how do they do that? What would be the easiest way?
You can find me at eddycar.my. Sorry. Let's do the new email because we have all the domains and everything now. It's eddy@whimsy.xyz. You can contact me there directly or here on whatever social media this is on. I'm on Instagram as well as X at the Whimsy account. So Whimsy_states. You can find me there. You can connect. Let's talk about real estate.
Yeah.
Tell me at 3 rapid fire for him.
Got 3 rapid fire questions from my top-notch social media guy. When you describe this investment to friends, how do you describe it? So when you're describing the turnkey rentals you bought off of me, how do you describe it?
Oh, actually, I do have experience with this. I actually did talk to my friend recently, and he was like, "Who's that guy that you've been talking about this whole time with those properties you got?" And I was like, "Oh, Steve? Yeah, he's a good dude. I like that guy." He said, "What about those properties? Like, how do I get in?" I was like, "Oh, you want in on the easiest possible opportunity you've ever done in your life? Yeah, you go to this guy." That's how I recommend you as well as the properties.
I think you're talking about Jay, right? I saw the properties. I started him in 3 days later. They're already under contract with someone else.
Oh, it's all good though. Yeah, literally, Jay, and we share in different opportunities and different lenders. And his lender hit me up, asking me if it's like, "Hey, Jay's looking at properties with the same guy you were. Are you buying more?" And I was like, "What a coincidence! Yes, I am."
So, what was the most stressed you've been as a single family investor?
The most stressed, I would say, when I got that inspection back and it said that there was I believe it was Kenmore. If not Kenmore, it might have been the 3rd Street. There's a sump pump that needed to be replaced down in the basement. And
yeah, out it out to the downspout, which is already done, by the way.
Oh, hell, I know it's sorted. Like, I'm not even worried about it at this point. I know it's sorted, but I used to live up north, right? I moved down south recently, but I used to live in Massachusetts. And I know when a sump pump goes and the winter just starts to thaw out, that basement becomes SeaWorld Part 2. So I was like, we need to resolve this ASAP before it gets too warm outside.
It's a brand new sump pump. It just wasn't connected into the downspout.
Oh, no wonder it was so cheap. I was like, what? How did you get a new sump pump in there for like sub 200? It worked out.
I was surprised they said anything, but either way. This is kind of a funny one. So what do people say about investing in Ohio behind our backs? Like, what do they say about us that I wouldn't know?
Oh, so with Whimsy, I also try to market and push content out. So when I talk about the opportunities that I'm going to bring, the ones from Ohio, the ones that we're on, the first comment that I got, mind you, I blocked them because there was the most ridiculous comment ever, was, "Oh, those look like Ohio trash properties in the ghetto. I don't want any part of it." And I'm like, what? My reply to him was, families still need to live somewhere regardless of where their finances are. if you're giving them an opportunity to live somewhere at a reasonable cost, maybe it's not mahogany wood buildings and, the streets aren't paved with gold, but it's still a home. It's still got heat, hot water, air conditioning in the winter. Like, what is where are you coming from? But yeah, I think that's one of the things that I've heard is like, I don't want to invest in the ghetto.
Not all of Ohio is the ghetto. Everywhere has rough areas, like we always talk about. I always invest in areas that I had rental properties too. Like that one Kenmore, I think I have 15 or 20 rentals within a half mile of your house. I love that area.
No,
just keep buying them there.
I personally don't care about certain dynamics like that for investing in properties. Obviously, I try to stay away from like rougher areas because it's hard to get people to feel safe in certain spots. But everything that you sent to me, that's why it took me a month to hit you back up. I Google mapped it. I found some friends who live somewhere in that area and they were telling me about it. They love Massillon. They love Acton. They love Canton. One of them actually lives in that area. And I'm like, oh, do you need a place to live? He was like, I already bought a house, but that is a nice area. The house was for him because he has a big family. It was a little too small, but I do my due diligence, and all the areas that you've recommended to me and that I've purchased are in great locations.
Thank you for doing your due diligence. A lot of people will just be like, oh, okay, I trust you. But I know that you took that time because after we talked, it was a little bit before you're like, yeah, I want those ones. So kudos for you for doing the due diligence, even from an out-of-state perspective. You didn't even have to fly here. You called people, you looked things up. So, I do look forward to meeting you in person one day. You are going to come out.
I have a bathroom, a floor, and some plumbing to do. But once that's done, I'm coming through.
See you there. Well, hey, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. And we'll talk soon.
All right, man. Thank you so much.